Buff Nation, what's going on? BWB, all of my bandwagon buffs. I hope you are having a great week. I hope you're having a great holiday season. How's your holiday going? Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to TLP Sports Club. You are watching TLP Live. I am your host, Harry Billion. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You feel me? There's so much going on. The playoffs are about to finally start. Indiana plays Notre Dame tonight. What time it starts? I think it's, let me not say the time. I don't know the time. I'll tell you the time in a second. Hopefully, I'll be streaming that game, depending on how the streaming universe goes. I'll be streaming it on my other channel, which is my Billionaires Mindset channel. So if you want to watch that game online, if you are not by your TV and you want to catch it, all you got to do is just go to Billionaires Mindset and catch that game tonight. Who you got? Who you think is going to be winning? Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, tell me who you got. I got Colorado. All things Colorado, right? And some news, guys, news around the horn. Travis Hunter becomes I believe, the 6th overall. He is the 6th overall unanimous. Let me make sure I get this correct. Should have had this queued up. Uh-oh. Got some movement in the portal. But Travis Hunter, let's go to it. How y'all doing today? Wow, I pulled this up. I should have had this up. I had it, but I lost it. What's going on? How y'all feeling today? Hope all is well. Wait a minute. All right, hold up. Travis Hunter become the 6th unanimous first team All-American in Colorado history. The 6th person in Colorado history to be unanimous first team All-American. That is a great achievement. And congratulations to Travis Hunter. Tim, what up? Dallas is in the building. Appreciate you coming on today. Appreciate you tuning into the show. What up, everybody, man? So I don't know if you want to call it a controversy, if there is a quarterback controversy, but I streamed the game, the Georgia 6A. Phil Surreal, what up? I streamed the football game of the Georgia 6A championships in Georgia. And during that, I guess, during that live stream, your boy, Juju Lewis, didn't play so well. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit before we get too deep into the show. Sometimes you just don't know what's going on. Do you think it's just the guy's having a bad day? He's not on. But how does it really feel when you have, I think some people don't really think that these kids have feelings, right? Because I don't know what type of conversations they're going to have. Because when you are at the top, you're at the top or the peak of your game, you've made news, you're now all over the news, and everybody's talking about you. Some people are going to take it some kind of way. Okay? So the guys at Grayson, I'm sure they've been watching ESPN, they've been watching television, and they didn't take so kindly that Juju was getting all of this publicity. Have you heard that before, or have you seen this movie before? They didn't take so kindly that he was getting all of this publicity, and they were going to make sure, all right? They were going to make absolute sure that he did not, okay, that he did not show them up in that game. And Grayson came out and played their butt off. I would like to say they even dominated the game, even though the score did not say they dominated the game. But if you watch the game, they pretty much dominated the game. So I'll just say, congrats to Grayson, but I want to know what y'all thought. Let's discuss a little bit in details, like what y'all think about how the game went down. I want to hear your thoughts today about how you think the game went down, because some people have some things to say. Some people are saying Juju's not ready. He should take a year off and let Salter take over for at least a year. I'm not even sure what year Salter is, but we'll talk about all of that today. So how you're doing? Right there on your screen, guys, is jointlplive@gmail.com. jointlplive@gmail.com. That is the email that you're going to call in, guys. You're going to use that email. You send me an email, and then I send you a link, and you come on, and we discuss what we got to discuss. So let's go. So how did I see it? Basically, the way that I saw it was I talked about it a little bit on my little short stream I had yesterday. Let me make sure let me put this screen over so I can see what y'all are saying, because I'm sure some people are going to be talking real greasy here. All right, so Purple Organ says what? Juju, let me put that on the screen. You said Juju needs a couple of years development though, but he's going to be super young even his first year of college. Couple of years, okay. For the college football game, Dylan Raiola didn't really need a couple of years. They threw him into the fire, and he had to learn on the job right away. Arch Manning over there in Texas, they gave him a few snaps just to kind of get used to the game, and they're probably about to put him in because the fans are already over there in Texas. Not my team, all right? Definitely not my team, but like I said, I like Arch Manning. Yeah, this is probably not. He's probably not ready. Quarterback is one of the toughest positions. So what do y'all think? Thank you, Purple Oakland. I appreciate you. Rakim77, what up with you? Phil So Real's in the building. What up? What up, Phil? Purple, what up? TH, what's up with you? Hope all is well. Latricia Wright, what up, Latricia? Hope all is well. Okay. So I believe the quarterback that has the most snaps, that has the most experience, if all goes well and all goes as planned, as Coach Brown is planning to make sure that we go into 2025 with a serious chance to dominate. I don't know how we're gonna fare out yet. Nobody's gonna know until we start seeing the pieces in place. We need to know who specifically is leaving, because some guys were either seniors or they came in as grad, but then we're hearing that some guys are going to be sticking around. So we don't know exactly who's leaving and who's coming. We do know that we have some people who are already in the transfer portal, but we don't really know what's the specific team yet. So a lot of this conversation is going to be premature, and we're going to be just kind of talking off the cuffs. But Colorado, at this point, we do know that we have Salter. We do know that we have Juju signed on. Ryan Staub ain't going nowhere. He's still here. So that's our quarterback situation. Now, as far as what type of weapons they're going to have around the quarterback, whether it's going to be the wide receivers or we getting tight ends, there are a few pieces that we do know about, but we don't know the full picture. We don't have the full picture yet. Sir Ken, what up with you? Tia said, listen to what Saban said on the McAfee show concerning QBs and how it's important and only beneficial if a young QB sits and learns. Look at all the young QBs starting in the NFL. Most are bad. Are they really? All right, so let's go. Let's go here. Let's start up. Let's put a pin in this. And speaking of transfers, let's put a pin in this out. This is the message that I got last time, and I want us to take a listen to this message real quick. Then we can kind of go from here. I'm trying a new layout here because for the most part, I've been looking down on my computer. So the whole show, I'm looking down, but now I put it on the other screen, and at least I'm looking up, so I'm not looking down the whole show. So let's hope that works better. All right, so let's try this.
Every situation is a unique. Um, you just have to really make sure that you're making the decision that you're making for the right decisions, and um, not just based off financial benefit, but like seeing if you're going to develop. Every situation is a unique. Um, you just have to really make sure that you're making the decision that you're making for the right decisions, and um, not just based off financial benefit, but like seeing if you're going to develop there, seeing if the coach that you're going to be playing for is going to develop you, seeing if you're going to be able to develop there as a man, seeing if your credits transfer over. A lot of people don't think about that. I just graduated this past weekend, and um, just being able to do that, like nobody's ever going to be able to take my degree away from me. So make sure your credits transfer over, making sure that level of education that you wanted at your initial school is going to meet up to it at your next school. So just make sure that you're making the decisions for the right reasons, and not just like, oh man, my coach doesn't like me, or I'm not going to play here. Maybe you're not playing for a reason. Maybe you just need to get better. So you need to really self-reflect before you make essentially a life-altering decision so quickly. Every situation is a unique.
So
You just have to really make sure that you're making the decision that
this is something that I talked about before, where when a lot of players are transferring, they don't really think about. I don't know if they think about the consequences of transferring. It's not always sexy, like I always say. When you're transferring, like the season is over, you've been at a specific school for a minute, and then all of a sudden you're transferring because you want to get playing time. While I understand the business move and I understand the transferring, but a lot of these transfers don't get the playing time that they're looking for. Um, I know his mom said that we shouldn't, don't worry, don't talk about him. But hey, listen, it's fair game now, okay? But let's look at Artem McCaskill, right? Whatever happened, whatever was the reason why he transferred, I believe they're going to be like, I mean, he's on a good team. So he went to a good team, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out what happened to him. Is he still injured? Is it because he's behind? I believe he's at Cam Scalaboo. I don't understand. Sometimes I don't know why some of these young men transfer, but I wanted to talk about that a little bit in depth today, and then we can go on to the next thing. Let me bring on my guy Phil Sorrell. Phil, what up with you, man? How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well, man. How's everything going your way, sir?
All is well. All is well.
Hey, real quick, I'm glad you mentioned, like, trying to figure out what is the reason why kids leave. It feels weird saying kids, but
I mean, they're kids. We are grown men.
No, you're right, but it's just sometimes when you say kids, sometimes it's the meaning to them. So anyway, I was thinking about it this morning on the way back from Kroger. I was like, I wish colleges did exit interviews so we can really see, like, what is the main reason? Is it playing time? Is it competition? Is it NIL? Are you trying to get closer to home? Is it you got some girlfriend problems? Like, I don't think everything is always as cut and dry as it's the money, or it's because they're not playing. And I wish we had a better understanding of why these guys were leaving, because I think some of us would have a little bit more respect for them, and it wouldn't be so much vitriol when they do leave. Because some of those kids getting pushed out too.
They do have exit interviews, but you mean making that accessible to the fans?
Yeah, just like I wish I was.
That would get messy, wouldn't it?
I wish I knew. Just put it this way: I wish I knew. I wish I knew what the answer was. I don't have to. It doesn't have to be a realistic way of finding out, but I just wish there was a way that I knew. What the root cause of it is, because it seems like it's a heck of a lot more rampant than it was in the past. Obviously, you have more freedom now, but it just seems like it's really getting out of control this year.
But you know what's interesting, though, that you bring that up, is the fact that college football is becoming more professional with the NIL money. So with everything on the table, when you become a professional, just like the NFL, you can't. I mean, you have the Marshawn Lynch's that would do the bare minimum in these interviews, right? But you bring up an interesting point. I feel like the more professional it becomes, the more access we require from you as a fan base, because it's no longer student athlete, right? Now it's like, yo, if the school is going to give you 700,000, like, bruh, $50,000 can take you through college. But go ahead.
I'll say this real quick. I don't even think it's becoming professional. It's becoming more professional from the standpoint that they're able to get paid. But I don't think it's professional because these kids aren't signing real contracts. They can up and leave whenever they want to. So at the very least, in the professional,
that's about to change, though.
No, yeah, that is going to change soon. I think
it's going to change quick. I promise you.
I think we're going to get to the point where kids have to at least sign a 2-year contract with the school, and I'm okay with that. But my point being is, right now, the kids that are in college and can leave whenever they want to, this is not preparing them for the NFL because, sir, ma'am, you're going to be under a contract, and guess what? If you don't like the coach, you don't like the team that you got drafted to. Tough cookie. You got to figure it out. So these kids they're enjoying something that they're not going to be able to have once they actually become professionals.
But that's what I want to talk about a little bit, because I feel like it is. Let's bring on Tim so he can join the conversation. Tim Dallas is in the building. What up, my guy, Tim? What's up with you? Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, sir. Good day, sir, to you and Phil.
Tim, what's good, man?
Thank you for having me on, brother.
So when I'm talking about professional, okay, look, whenever you get paid for something, you become a professional, regardless of how much money. Now they're gonna be negotiating their own. Right now they are negotiating, right? I don't know some of the memes that we're seeing where kids are requesting certain amount and things like that. I don't know if those are real yet, but it's getting to the point where this whole thing is becoming a professional. Let's just say a semi-professional league, because the money that these kids are asking for now, like 2021, I believe, NIL became a thing. This thing is very, very young, but it has caught fire. Okay, it's like freaking West Coast California fire, and it's ready to go. So as fast as it's gone, now all of the people with all the money are going to be lined up. The boosters are going to look and feel a little different. But now I think people behind the scenes have to figure out how this is going to work, because now we got to deal with contracts. You can't just be giving money to people who don't have no consequences, nothing that's connected to the money. Oh, you're just gonna play. We're still gonna treat you like a student athlete. How long is that gonna last? That's not gonna last that long.
It's not, but that's why, like you said, changes are coming. Pause. They're coming quickly. Pause. And we just got to accept it. And I think the changes that we'll get here will be for the better. I just hope that it's done right, and I hope that football people are actually in the room having those conversations, and not just media executives. I hope they're real former football players and coaches that can give some sound counsel when it comes to what needs to happen moving forward with college football.
What's the likelihood of that happening? Like, really, realistically,
I don't think the NCAA will make any decision that will benefit the game that will take away money from their media partners. So it is very unlikely that it happens.
Exactly. So, Tim, what do you think about that? And also, to Phil, thank you so much for the membership gift to one of our listeners and one of our watchers. I appreciate that, man.
Real quick, apparently I looked online. You can pick who you send it out to, but it just randomly does it when I do them. So I didn't have a person in mind, but it looked like it went to Purple Orca. So I know there's somebody that's been on the channel, plenty of times in the chat. So hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Purple Orca. Salute to you, man. Welcome to the membership. Hey, Tim.
Yo.
What are your thoughts about this whole thing becoming like a semi-pro type of situation? Because I don't see it I don't see it staying the way that it is currently. You can't be giving this amount of money away to kids and then not require them to be professionals. Like, I want access. The more money they get paid, the more access we're supposed to have to them. Isn't that right? Isn't that how it goes?
Um, I guess for me, I see it as, you know, uh, years prior to this new age of football and kids, well, young men and young women getting paid um in the NIL, the name, image, and likeness. Before then, you know, we I've heard the stories. I talk with certain players at school and wonder like, man, the university makes so much money off our name alone, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't really get a dime, even though coaches were paying players up under the table. But they just like, man, they selling all these jerseys. You know how much money they making off of us. We selling out stadiums depending on the team, and they making millions of dollars that way. Media making it now that they're able to get paid. I really don't see nothing wrong with it getting paid, but as far as uh the NIL era, man, I just kind of feel like, if they are getting all these millions of dollars or 750,000 or half a million, that's a lot of money for a
That is, bro.
21-year-old. You
Bruh.
know,
That,
so
that
and
pays for college and more.
man, and if they don't invest it properly, like Coach Reed said, you got people out here that are acting like they're agents and they getting 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So say for instance, you got 500,000, you get 20% of that, and then you having to pay taxes on top of that 500,000 after your so-called agent then got 20% of that. So you're not really left with a lot. But I feel like we live in an era of social media where everybody want to stunt like they daddy. So these kids want that big money so they can be flashy, I guess, kind of like some of the players that they look up to in the NFL. But I think it could be I think it could be a curse to some kids because they just jumping uh like Nikhai Hill-Green. He was good, but he went from Michigan to, what was the team that he went to prior to college?
Charlotte.
He went to
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Then he
Yeah.
And
came
where's
to
he at? Where's he looking at going to now, Harry?
see, I don't even know where he
Alabama.
No. I asked Harry because I know Harry knows the answer to that one. But he landed in Tuscaloosa at 10:30 a.m. this morning. So he's
okay.
down in Tuscaloosa.
Wait,
But
you're tracking it like that?
but again, no. I'm not tracking him. I just have I have a paid subscription to one of the Bama sites, and they have that type of information. So I just check it in the morning, and that's what they put. But apparently Nikhai Hill-Green had a relationship with Courtney Morgan, who is the GM for Alabama's football program. So I think that's where some of that is coming from. I don't think he's going to sign, but at the very least, he is going to come in and have a conversation based off of that connection that he has.
But if he left Colorado and he get to Alabama, I can't see him not signing to get a bag, as well as, I guess, get his master's degree and then go to the NFL, because he didn't put up he got a lot of film from Colorado, good film,
Right.
that
I
he
just
could
don't
have
know if he's
actually
going to start at Bama though, just based off of.
me
I don't know
either.
what.
Hold on, don't go too much into that. Don't go too much into that yet. Let me read the thing first, and then. But let me bring on Love and Liberty. Love and Liberty, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing today? Appreciate you calling in.
Doing well. How are you guys doing? Good to see you, Harry, Phil, Tim.
What's up,
Chat.
Double L?
All is well.
L?
All is well. Getting ready for a 2-week road trip to and from the Alamo Bowl.
Awesome.
There we go. Phil wants to know if he can call you Double L, like LL Cool J. LL
Oh,
Cool
you
M.
already know. You already know.
All right, you got to go ahead and call him Double L. All right, that sounds kind of cool too. I might use it every now and then. So former Colorado second team All Big 12 linebacker Nikhai Hill-Green is still expected to visit Alabama this weekend, as reported by BOL earlier this week. The 6'2", 230-pound inside linebacker had 82 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 4 pass breakups this past season. He had a previous relationship with Alabama general manager Courtney Morgan and assistant director of player personnel Tony Jones. Both were previously at Michigan, where Hill-Green originally signed. Okay, so this is the situation that we were talking about. Now, I don't know if this makes sense, if this is for the bag, or if this is more so about the fact that we can go to the SEC, since we already made a name for ourselves, get our draft stock up, and then try the NFL. Does that mean that he didn't really, that he's not getting that much feeders? Because remember, we talked about it not too long ago, I think last show. Does that mean that he's not getting a lot of feeders from NFL scouts, or what's going on? Let me start with you, Love and Liberty or Double L.
I'm wondering, just like everybody else, I'm dying to know, because I thought he was locked in with CU. We saw his lady at a lot of the events, a lot of the buff walks and stuff this season, and she had all kinds of custom Colorado clothes made, like Liana, like custom Colorado everything. So it seemed like they were both really happy. I think maybe he has a guaranteed bag in college that might be as big or bigger than what he could get in the NFL. And it might just be a business. It's got to be a business decision. But I assume that he's looking for a big bag he's a legitimized college player. And in the NFL, there's always, you've got that proving, higher risk for injury, this and that. So I don't know. I'm still torn up about it. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, because it threw me for a loop big time.
Yeah, this one is a little weird. Phil, go ahead, please. You were going to talk about his chances. Go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if I think he'll start at Bama just based off of what they have there. Deontay Lawson, I think he's probably going to definitely go. But Jahad Campbell is another guy, middle linebacker, who is I think top 5 linebacker on Mel Kiper's board. So if both of those guys leave, I think he has a chance to start. If one of those guys leave, I don't think he will, just because I think they have some guys coming up behind them that will be a little bit better, but I think he will be a value add. I just want to make sure that we're careful with always saying that when somebody leaves, they're trying to get a bag, because we don't know what the situation is, because it could very well be like I'm just trying to go somewhere and still play football and get my master's, or it could be I want to go. Yeah, I think it could be something as simple as, hey, this school doesn't provide this for me, so I'm going to go here. Or maybe he just wants to go somewhere and just be happy, finish school, right off into the sunset, and go from there. So I don't think everything is always the bag. But I don't think he's moving to actually try to start. I will say that much, because I don't think he will let them move.
Hey, can I?
Go ahead.
Harry, you hinted on something a second ago when you was talking about it. You was talking about he may not like his mock draft positioning, and that could be a vital piece to his decision to go ahead and go back and get your master's. Get a little bit more money, maybe what you was getting at CU, because Alabama does have boosters, and they have the money there. They ain't Texas A&M, but they got the money.
I got some pushback on that, Tim, but
Okay.
I want you to finish though. Go ahead.
Okay, but if you look at his mock draft, because he was a senior,
right?
So I mean, he's able to see where he may land in the mock draft, and if he doesn't like that, then why not come back and get maybe a little bit bigger payday? I think he's a smart young man. I mean, a smart man. Just from the outside looking in, but I I don't see why he wouldn't go to Alabama and get his mock draft up and then enter the league. It makes sense.
But does that mean that Colorado doesn't have the weight to get him higher? Is that why you would make a move? Because when you're making a move, that has like your credits transferring. I mean, all of your credits transferring, and there's a lot that goes into moving. So, could it be that Colorado didn't have what he wanted, or I mean, what else could it be? I'm trying to make sense of it, because you get a lot of highlights here, and is he looking at the fact that maybe the linebackers room is not really what he wants, or what's going to help him to get there? You know. So somebody help me out, because I really want to understand it.
It's one of those things where it's really hard to say, man, because this one is kind of confusing, because it seems like once he got there and was on the field, he made a difference. So it could be a situation where he's saying, I know I may not be able to get to the league, because trust me, these schools have resources to help these kids know what their draft stock is. So maybe he realizes, hey, I'm not a guy that's going to get in the NFL. So let me stay in college, and I can make more money off of NIL than I can off of a practice squad position. Play for another year, continue my education, and then if I get a better draft grade next year, do what I do. If not, I got a little bit of money on the side. I can start my own tractor supply company. I can start my own
wait, what supply?
Pressure washing company or something. Tractor supply.
Yeah, I like the common folk aspect that you're kicking out there. You know, that's how I think. That's how I think. But
success is not always about having 100,000 in the bank or having this car, that car. Sometimes success is just being happy. And I promise you, there are a lot of people I know that make far less than I do. They enjoy their life because they enjoy what they do. They're happy with themselves, and they're not trying to impress anybody. So I would suggest that everybody under the sound of my voice, keep that in mind with the decisions that you make financially moving forward for the rest of your life, young and old.
Bro, you know that you can get a fleet of trucks, put some trucks on the road for under $100,000.
Yeah, I got my homeboy over in Germany. He got all kind of stuff like that going on. This dude is about to invest in some mineral mines in Africa. So yeah, like he's taking that mindset of like entrepreneurship and use the job he has with the federal government, good paying job, might I add, and leverage that money to do whatever he wants to. So he's going to be trying to retire at 45, which is in 5 more years.
Like, so, think about these young men who are getting like all of this money. 100,000. Like, you got parents in homes together not making that. You know what I'm saying? And you're making, like, you're looking to get 300,000, 400,000, 700,000. Some of these kids, especially if you're elite, you know, you're gonna get a whole lot of money. But anyways, that the whole idea of this and the conversation that we were having about the fact that it's becoming more professional. The requirements for professionals are a little bit different than student athlete. And Love and Liberty, I know you didn't have too much to say on that fact, but let me get your thoughts on the aspect of students who are now going to be required. I think it's coming down the pipeline real soon. Okay, I don't know how it's going to look, what the conversations are behind the scenes, but this thing is looking more and more like a professional league because of the NIL. So what type of, how do you think this thing is going, what is the end game? How do you see this happening? Because the way I look at it, I feel like now we're going to have contracts. This thing is going to look a whole lot different. Kids are not even going to, they're probably not going to require, they're not going to require you to have a degree, maybe. Because if you're a professional, then why do you need a degree? How far does this go? Anyway, your thoughts.
I think the hope is that it increases and cultivates more competition, which gives, you know, the fans like us a better viewing experience. It makes the prospective player garden, so to speak, more ripe to grow more Travis Hunters, like hopefully his little brother Travis turns out to be. I think that's the hope, is that
actually his name?
Travis. Yeah, it's Travis and Travis.
Okay, cool. I did not know that. Thank you.
Yo, the parents was having some real fun.
Yeah.
Or they're unoriginal.
It's going to be interesting to see how similar their games are with it being Travis and Travis. But Travis has been with Travis everywhere the last few months. He's been like his right-hand man, so they got a really close relationship. But I think that's the hope. And then I think it is going to look like pro and semi-pro ball in the sense of some people follow players around their whole careers. Like that was me and Coach Prime. Like I bandwagoned all the teams that Coach Prime moved to because that was my guy. And then you have other people who have, I also live in Boulder. I like the Buffs because I live in Boulder. And then I went to Clemson. So I've got these multiple allegiances, and I think you're going to have players moving around. It's going to increase the competition. And like Coach Prime always says, NIL, name, image, and likeness, is more like Travis, where Adidas wants to do deals with him. Boost Mobile, United Airlines want to do deals with him that would follow him to any team he went with. These collectives are more of a donor base, and Coach Prime doesn't like that as much. He wants players to make a name for themselves so they get their own money from these private companies. And I think if Coach Prime continues to have a strong influence on the model, and hopefully the NCAA looks to him because he keeps consistently being right year after year about what this is going to look like, I think he's one of the best people to kind of funnel this into the best of what it could be instead of letting it turn into like a Vegas free-for-all.
But once you get money involved, right, Tim? Once you get money involved, then the people with the money are going to dictate the rules. So what does college football look like? I mean, this thing started we're only like 3.5 years in or 4 years in, and it's looking crazy right now. Where are we going? Where does it go from here?
I agree with you. It is looking crazy due to the fact that players that have a aspiration for going to the NFL, making dumb moves. Like you're a top receiver, but you're a transfer, hit the transfer portal and go to a team that's losing their quarterback because he may have jumped in the portal or he's going to the NFL. All because you're chasing the bag. It doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, I feel like the portal is going to it's going to ruin a lot of good players' chances of making it to the NFL because I heard somebody say that the NFL is watching how many times players hit the transfer portal. So they're watching that. It says a lot about your character, especially if I'm going to bring you into my organization.
Okay.
So I feel like these kids, man. Well, I feel like they need to put a salary cap also. But that's exactly what I wanted to talk about next. And let me bring Phil in. Oh, go ahead. You finish your thought first, then I'll ask the question. No, I was just gonna say they need to put a salary cap on it. But I do like the that it levels the playing field to other schools to bring in certain players, and that helps as far as revenue as well for the university. So I do like that aspect.
It's like the good and like the bad. It's like they haven't really figured it out yet. The emotional connection to, okay, listen, the schools have been making a lot of money and it all makes sense. We're all for it. But now we got to pay these students. But then it's like they didn't really understand, or that they didn't make enough provision to understand like where this is going. So if they're going to be making like have a salary cap, like the second you say salary cap, that sounds professional. So how do we rightfully divide student athlete, salary cap, and the rules that are coming down this pipeline? Because this is, I'm telling you, man, we're not even scratching the surface on this conversation.
So when it comes to some of that conversation, I think this would be a great thing to talk about. This is a great blend between the billionaire mindset and TLP Sports Club, because there are a lot of political influences that will determine what college football is going to look like moving forward. So Diego Pavia, the quarterback at Vanderbilt, just won a case that basically said your JUCO years does not count against eligibility for college football. So if you play 2 years of JUCO, that doesn't count against you. So you can have people that are literally 20, 21 years old being what would be considered a true freshman in college, but they've already played 2 years at JUCO.
Well, you mean at Power 4? Well, at Power 4, because JUCO is college. It's literally junior college.
Yeah, yes, it is college. But my point is, before it would count against your eligibility. So if you went to JUCO, you still only had your 5 allotted years, your regular 4 years of college plus a red shirt, right? But now, because they're taking that JUCO route away, those 2 years that you did at JUCO don't count towards those 5 years that you get. So now players can literally play college football 2 years JUCO, 4 years in, FCS, FBS, whatever it is that you're playing in. So that's going to have ramifications as well. Then we have to look at, are the players going to be considered as employees? Are they going to sign contracts? Then we have to look at, okay, how is it going to be fair? Are teams going to have salary caps? Because if you have a salary cap, that's fine. But I promise you, a team like SMU can't spend the same money like a team like Texas can, even though they're in the same state. So those are things that we're going to have to look at moving forward. It's a lot of moving parts, and it's really confusing. At the end of the day, as long as the play on the field stays good, the other stuff I can deal with. Once the play on the field is messed up, I'm gonna be pissed off.
You remember the stuff that we were talking about camaraderie, learning that your guys spending 4 years or 3 years with your guys, all of that stuff goes out the window.
But that's legacy talk. We can't do that no more, Harry. We in a new era of college.
Exactly. But I've been trying to tell y'all this for so long, and y'all were like, no, y'all was so strong on gung ho about.
I wasn't saying no. I was saying I don't like it. I don't want that. I like people taking pride in the school that they went to. When I walk around with my Grambling hat on and my Grambling shirt on, I have pride in that. And if anybody want to talk junk to me because I got it on, we gonna do it in fun. But I know that if they got a Tuskegee shirt on, a hat, they got a Southern hat, a shirt on, they take pride in where they went to school. You're not gonna see that anymore. And I think sometimes when you believe in something bigger than yourself, you fight for it even harder. And I think that's what's gonna take away some of the things that make college football special. But again, as long as the field on the play is top notch, I'm still going to watch.
So how do you get these kids to really play for the program anymore? And how do you even start? How does that even work for a coach who knows that he got a player who's trying to play for their next team? Because that's what it is ending up being. It's like you're auditioning for your next team. There's unlimited transfers now. They let that cat out the bag. There's unlimited transfers. So how do you motivate a kid to play for the program? And then when it comes down to playing certain games, you want them to dig in, and they're like, yo, I ain't trying to get hurt. So how do you get around that now?
Hey, I'm going to say this real quick and I'm going to shut up. Deion said they coming to Colorado for Deion, not Colorado. So I don't think coaches can do that anymore. I think players are going to follow coaches, not schools, based off of Deion's words.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say, if they bring the contract theory to it, to where these kids have to sign a contract with the school for a 2-year minimum, like I think Phil brought that up earlier. Now you can eliminate that auditioning for your next school, because a lot of them are doing that. I feel like that's why certain players want to come to Colorado, because now you can get that. People don't even know anything about you, but now you come to Colorado, the whole world knows about you, and if you get a chance to play, boom, you out the next season. But if you sign a 2-year contract, a lot can happen your first year may not look like your second year. So that gives other schools the opportunity to not only just evaluate you on 1 year, but they can evaluate you on 2 years if they want you or not, depending on productivity.
Mm-hmm. So Phil brought up this whole junior college situation, and I feel like this is interesting that we gotta talk about it. Does this mean, okay, look, let me put this up because I feel like this is so interesting. If this is the case and this ain't gonna count against you, this is another route right here. This is suggesting you can go audition and take this route because junior college, you get a bag in junior college as well now. So this is another route, and let's put this up. Wait a minute here. Let's see. What does it say right here? It says, with major college sports programs collectively generating billions in revenue each year, private investors are looking to get a piece of the action. But how much is a college sports program really worth? So, jumping down to Ohio State University is the most valuable athletic program, worth an estimated 1.32 billion. Ohio State? Wait a minute.
Now, keep in mind, this is the athletic department. So not just the football program, but all revenue generating sports.
What's in Ohio? What am I missing here?
You got to remember, some of this comes down to, this is talking about like net worth or like value. So it's the same thing where some of this.
No, of course.
It's fugazi. It's not real money. You know what I mean? So it's like, how much money can the school?
This is monopoly money?
Basically, like how much money can the school get from like media contracts? How much money does the school get from their endowment? How much money can?
Okay, hold on. Let me just read the whole thing so people can get the idea of what you're saying. Ohio State University is the most valuable athletic program, worth an estimated $1.3 billion. The Buckeyes had $280 million in revenue in 2023. While I'm reading this, guys, I want you to start thinking about when conferences are going after certain schools. This is going to make a lot of sense now. All right. The most in any school. Other factors that help propel the Buckeyes to the top of the rankings are an alumni base of over 600,000, a fan base of more than 11 million, boosters that donated nearly 60 million last year. They ain't black. Black people, we don't get back. Okay, anyway, that's not here, not there. And a football team that routinely has attendance of over 100,000 at its game. It isn't surprising that the top of the list is dominated by SEC and Big Ten schools, due largely to each other's conferences or each conference's massive media rights deals. Yo. The SEC is worth $13.3 billion. No wonder no wonder there's an SEC bias. Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy right here. So you said that, okay, now you have the junior colleges are going to be wiped off their plate. No longer is that going to count against them.
Correct.
So does this look like an auditioning for some players? And I wonder what happens if you go Power 4 and you go back to junior college. Is that even a thing?
There are guys who start off at a Power 4 or Group of 5 school, go to JUCO for a year and come back up. That is actually fairly common. Cam Newton is probably the most successful person that did it. He was at Florida, got into a little bit of trouble, went down to, I think it was Lane College. Tim, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was in Texas. Won a JUCO national championship. Then went to Auburn, had his Superman year, won a national championship, Heisman, and the rest is history. So it is not uncommon for guys to drop down to come back up. And sometimes they end up going back up to a better situation. That was the original transfer portal, but you just had to work a little bit harder.
Yeah,
so basically,
the guy from Liberty that we just picked up in the transfer portal, he was a four-star coming out of Cedar Hill, Texas, and he went to Liberty. Now he's back up to back up in Boulder,
Power 4. Yeah.
Power 4. So, he got into a little trouble as well.
Yo, but this is a good point that the Texas Truth is making. The players that get stuck in the transfer portal can go to JUCO and hide out for a year and just keep working on their skills. And they can come back, and that's not going to count against them.
I hope guys are willing to humble themselves and do that. If we want to go with the stereotype that this generation doesn't work hard, then guys probably won't do that. But that's a great point by the Texas Truth. I hope guys will try to hone in and become better at their craft. With that being said, my concern is now what happens to the 3-star to 2-star, 1-star guy coming out of high school? Because now the Power 4 group, Power 4 group of 5, they're taking up the 4-star and 5 stars. And now if JUCO is going to get taken over by former 4 and 5 stars, those 3, 2, and 1 stars coming out of high school, what are they supposed to do?
See, that's what I was going to say, Phil. Like, if
Hey, hold your thought. Let me bring on CU fan. He's been waiting in the green room. Okay. Hey, CU fan, welcome to the show, brother. I appreciate you. How you doing today, man?
Good. How you doing, Harry? How guys doing over there in the panel?
Man, we're kicking it. We're kicking it. Tim, go ahead with your thought, then I'll get CU fan rolling. Go ahead, man.
Okay, I was gonna say, Phil, if you have some high 3 stars that committing, like, I used the old method before the transfer portal. Those guys will go over to Alabama and sit for 2 years, maybe 3. And maybe last year they get to showcase their talent and go on to the NFL. But you got those high 3 stars now that have a desire, some, not all, but some have a desire to play now. They feel like they are good enough to play now, but in reality, they're not. But making that decision to go over to JUCO, where you may have the opportunity to play now, that is the auditioning, or should be the auditioning stage for a lot of Power 4 schools to come grab you out of JUCO. And Coach Prime didn't already tapped into it, but I'm gonna let CU talk. But I'm gonna come back because I got something else to say, Harry, about what Coach Prime says about the transfer portal and how it operates and how he go about looking at it.
Hey, I mean, I love this conversation because it's digging into something that college football, I don't know too many people are talking about. So, CU fan, your thoughts? Hey, Love and Liberty, you're on the panel, guys. If you hear something that pricks your ear or whatever, just jump into the conversation. But CU fan, you just came, so let me get your thoughts on this little thread that we on right now. This whole JUCO situation, that this lawsuit that just came out about JUCO, you can hide your JUCO years.
I believe that what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to take the JUCO route, and because they're going to take the JUCO routes, we're going to have college players, maybe around, I don't know, they're going to make it a professional thing. Like, they're going to stay as long as they can, making money in the college area. Because there's a lot of players that are not going to go to the NFL. They're not NFL players. Only the super elite go to the NFL, and because of that, they're just going to hang out in the college as long as they can. And I believe that once that happens, the whole system is going to change. Because why would I want to go to the NFL when I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars in the college round? And there's a possibility that I can make that much money before I go. Now, the only thing that I don't know what's going to go in the NFL is how they're going to react to it. They may react to, well, we don't want, 27, 28-year-olds going into, first round, because we're not going to get what we think we're going to get from it. And that might be a concern to the NFL, because I know, what is it? Shiloh, he's like 27, 28, I think now.
No, he's
Um,
25. He's 24,
Yeah,
25. I
Charlotte,
just said he's turning 18.
Charlotte about to be
He old as
30
dirt.
years old.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah. His age keeps every show. His age changes. He goes up a year.
hey, real quick, I
hey,
gotta
I'm just
hop off,
saying.
man. I gotta hop off. I hope y'all have a wonderful Friday, Harry. If you do a live tomorrow, I'll try to jump on if I can. Y'all be
All right, man.
blessed. Put a smile on somebody's face, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Phil. Appreciate it. Hey, Love and Liberty. I want you to see if you can talk about Rock Kim 777. What he said right here, Harry B. That means no more walk-on players. How do you see that? Like, what are your thoughts on this whole JUCO idea and this possibly wiping off walk-ons? Like, what? How does that work?
That's interesting to consider how it affects walk-on players. Before you read that comment, what's going through my head is this would have been a perfect scenario for somebody like me who grew more between 18 and 20 as far as being able to put on weight. And if this had been an option back when I was in high school, it would have influenced my decision, especially after seeing some players like Hunter Renfro be able to make it to the league. So I think that it's going to this doesn't apply to everybody. Some dudes are fully grown by the time they're 18, but there's a lot of players who do a lot of their physical development in that between the 18 and 20-year-old range. And for those people, this is like a godsend because they might be durable enough to play power four when they're 20, where they're not when they're 18. I'm even thinking of Travis. Like Travis is like 5'7", 145 right now. He's only like a sophomore or something in high school, so who knows? But as far as walk-ons, I still think you're going to have, and I think Phil was making the point earlier that this is going to end people being like loyal to the teams. But I think just like the NFL, it's going to be both ways. You're going to have people who are loyal to players, like I was saying, who follow players, but you're still going to have these kids who grew up in Colorado or who grew up in South Carolina or who grew up in Alabama. And this has a lot to do with the culture. The longer Coach Prime is in Boulder, the more he builds a culture that for CU transcends him, which is going to be very hard to do. But like Alabama had a culture that transcended Nick Saban. It's carrying on past Nick Saban. That's what Clemson's trying to do. Miami has a culture that transcends their coaches. Then you get these kids who grow up as fans of a school, and if they buy into the culture, you're going to have kids who play for the school. You're going to have kids who play for the bag. You're going to have kids who play for the coach. It's going to just be this diverse, and that's what will make it exciting to me is all these different motivations, energies. I still think you will have walk-on players from those kids who, hey, I don't want to go to JUCO. I know I want to go to CU Boulder. I'm born and raised in Colorado, but I think I could walk on the team and impress Coach Prime like Trevor Woods did in his first year or like Ben Finiseth did. And so I'm going to do that because I'm going to CU no matter what. I'm either going to ride or die with Coach Prime. I'm either going to make the team or not. You'll have walk-on players like that, but people who are serious about a career in football, this JUCO option just opens up a huge pathway with the eligibility for them to develop and increase their stock by the time they're ready. I was going to say go pro, but now Division I college is semi-pro. So
Yeah, it is. It
Well, I
is.
mean,
And
JUCO is.
in that aspect, I mean, if I was a coach, why would I go get a high school player when I got someone that's a JUCO that's coming out, going into their first year as a freshman in the NCAA Division I? He's already got 2 years under his belt under JUCO. He's developed. He understands the perspective. Why would I want to go get a high school player when I have a JUCO coming in?
Well, is the high school player Travis Hunter?
I don't know. I mean, because
But that's why. That would be a reason, is what I'm saying.
I don't think the landscape of it is going to change, but it makes sense because, like you said, if you got a kid coming out of high school that's a Travis Hunter, that's a Julian Lewis, or some of these other 5-star recruits, you're going to recruit them in because they pretty much could play if someone else went down, even though they got other guys in line. But to go to JUCO to audition, especially if you're a low 3-star or a 2-star, and you have a desire to play, you may not have gotten some of the best offers coming out of high school, but you could go to the JUCO level and prove your case, and hopefully get picked up out of JUCO to come play at a Power Four level. But you get a lot more film, especially if you have a desire to go to the NFL and get picked up by a Power Four and come in and do what you've been doing at the JUCO level just now in the Power Four. Now it increases your mock draft, your chances of even making it to the NFL.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I understand what you're trying to say now.
hold
Look,
on,
look,
hold on. Listen to this. During the 2024 season, the minimum salary for NFL practice squad players is $12,500 per week. $12,500 per week. Let me do the math. What is that for per month? 12,500 times 4. Okay, so that's $50,000 per month, right? If a player has accrued at least 2 seasons, their minimum salary is $16,800 per week, and the maximum salary is $21,300 per week. If a player with fewer than two seasons is on the practice squad for all 18 weeks, they will earn $250,000. That approximately that's approximately 28% of the NFL league minimum salary for rookies. For rookies, $795,000. So to put this whole thing in perspective, no, hold on. If a player with at least 2 seasons on the practice squad for all 18 weeks, they will earn between $302,400 and $383,400. The veteran league minimum salary for 2024 starts at $915,000. Okay, so to put this whole thing in perspective, when it comes to whether you go pro and be on a practice squad or you stay in college, it seems as if, because you're in college, you're getting education, you're getting, if you're on scholarship, you're getting free meals, you're getting, room and board or whatever, and it looks like you're getting something similar to what the pros are making, and not everybody gets an opportunity to be on this practice squad. The room is limited on practice squad players, so if you leave, you're not allowed to come back after you declare for the pros, correct? Anybody knows? If you once you leave, you can't come back to college, right?
If you going,
If you go
so
try out
how
for
many
like a
years?
pro team,
Uh-huh.
well, it depends. Did you graduate?
if you go try out for a pro team, you can't then go back into the college system and try to play sports, right?
I don't think so.
I think
You
that
go
makes you
back to
that declares you
school.
a professional and ineligible.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you could come back and play in college sports, but you can come back and be a student, a
You
regular
right. You can be a
student, though.
right. So what does this look like? The way these numbers, the way that they're looking, how does this contrast with NIL? Is what I'm trying to get to. Because you look at these numbers and you're like, okay, so does it benefit a player that's maybe decent and may be able to make a practice squad? Does it benefit them to go because they're going to get a little bit more money? Or is it more beneficial to stay in college and continue to make that money? Because they're getting like the money they're getting is like yearly, right? Like they'll give you.
Well, it's the same thing that you were talking about the last time we talked here. Like Nikhai Hill-Green, you say he's going to be an invitation. He's not going to be picked in the rounds. So he's taking his option as like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stick around for one more year and make my bag and make my money. So, I mean, in this perspective is before I even try, I'm going to go make as much money as I can.
But when you look at the math, the way the math is mathing, does it make more sense to go pro, or does it make more sense to stay in high school?
It makes more
I mean,
sense to
college.
me
Right.
it makes more sense to me from a physical aspect to stay in college and try to earn as much
Absolutely.
money
Right.
as I
Right.
possibly can. So, you know what I mean? Because if I'm a wise enough individual, then I can invest that money wisely and maybe double or triple it if I invest it right and get with the right individuals and within my circle. But like Travis Hunter, for example, he bought a house in Colorado. Him and his fiance. If he, even though he's going to the NFL and he's going to get a nice size contract, I would still keep that house in Colorado so I can rent it out when they have home games to some of the alumni or whoever wants to come down there and attend the game and charge them $1,500 a night. You know, so you if you invest in your money right, I ain't finna go to no practice squad to get beat up in one season, and then now I only made $150,000 and I'm back on the streets.
No, the Texas truth. Everybody ain't making big money, but if you got linemen that are getting paid a couple of $100,000 to, you know, in the league, we're talking about the elite players. Obviously, the ones that are not playing, they're not going to get that much money. But we're talking about the players that are generating or garnering this type of attention. They're going to get paid a decent amount of money. Linemen, like I think I don't remember what show it was on, but I remember we talked about there are some linemen that they're garnering some, you know, some attention, and they're going to get paid for it. Like for you to get a lineman right now, it's a couple of $100,000 to get a decent lineman.
Hey, Harry, I don't mean to interrupt you. If you, I just heard the story, but I didn't catch the name or look into it just yet. But the quarterback that's going over to Oklahoma, Bill Belichick, they wanted him at North Carolina, and they pretty much had a blank check that he could have wrote his amount down. That's how bad they wanted him. But he ended up choosing Oklahoma. But North Carolina was probably willing to give him whatever he wanted. And in my opinion, that's just like, what's the use of going to the NFL if you can invest that money the proper way and you able to walk out of there with $2 or $3 million?
But do you really think these young men are investing? That's another thing. It's like, are they investing? Because you're in college, you get this type of money. Like, I mean, look at Jordan Seaton. He got a Maybach. Was it a Maybach he got? I think it was a
Maybach, but that was a gift. That was given to him by Shador.
Oh, Shador gave him the Maybach, but okay. So that means he probably already had that Maybach, right? That was just something he had, and he gave it to him, right?
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
That's a tax write-off. That's a tax write-off. But these kids, like, okay, I talked about this before, but man, you're getting this type of money. You can invest this money. Get a. I don't know if you want to get into a line of trucks because you're gonna have to get a dispatcher and deal with mechanics and all of that. I don't know, but you can find a way to invest this money. But listen, some kids got some immediate needs that they need to fill right now. All right, mama ain't got it all. Daddy ain't got it all. Something's going on at home. We got to take care of right now, and that money can go fast, especially if they got agents that are taking a certain percentage. And are we gonna rein that in? Yo, the NFL agents don't even get that. The professional agents get like 3 to 5%. How is it that college agents are getting 20%? Are we gonna rein this in anytime soon? Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Let's turn our attention back to Colorado. Let me see if I can get give me a second here. Let me go to my next slide. I found this thing to be quite interesting because we are getting to a point where we need regulation. We have a little bit of regulation, but college football, the NCAA, it seems like they don't even have regulation. They don't know how to deal with this. I think it's like, okay, we're going to throw it out there and let the public decide, or let the system itself correct itself. Is the system supposed to police itself in this situation, Tim, or Love and Liberty? How does the system police itself in this case?
I think that they working behind the scenes on how to get a handle on it. But for years, like I said earlier, kids have been complaining. Just think about how much money Reggie Bush would have made
Oh man, you go down that
when he
rabbit
was
hole,
at.
you're gonna have to talk about
That's right.
everybody, all the way up to Deion Sanders himself.
Yeah, Deion Sanders, but I use Reggie Bush for example because he was like a celebrity at USC, man. Not only that, he started dating Kim Kardashian in college. So that man, that is insane amount of money that he would have made.
Wait, Reggie Bush was dating one of the. He was dating Kim.
He was messing with Kim Kardashian while he was at USC.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
So, but I'm just saying, Reggie Bush jerseys flew off the shelves, man. Vince Young jerseys, but the players complained for so long. So now, you know what? Bam, here you go. You get paid. Now it's causing other friction. Now
Right, things unforeseen obstacles that they didn't know were going to enter the scene because
exactly.
you're muddying and you're blurring the lines between student athlete and professional athlete, or at least semi-professional athlete. And it's interesting. I want to know how this is going to end. But let's turn our attentions to Colorado's portal happenings. The portal is portaling. Following the Bucks' final regular season game, Coach Brown made his intentions clear. I am hitting that portal like never before. So this is tracking the portal. All right. For those of you who follow Colorado, let me know if some of these things are inaccurate or not. So here we go. Some of these names I don't even know. Like, do we know how much playing time Chaney got? John Chaney Jr. got? But anyway, he was a linebacker. He's out. And he was out November 19th. He spent 3 seasons at Florida A&M before signing with Colorado. And then the QB Walter Taylor, he's out on the 3rd. He was out December the 4th. He began college career at Vanderbilt. I remember that name, but I never saw him. I never saw anything from him. Rayon Bureau is out, a defensive lineman. He was out December the 5th. He spent prior 2 seasons at Ohio. And then we got Cordell Russell. He's out. He's a wide receiver. He got out December the 8th. He was a former 4-star prospect who began his college career at TCU. They didn't see much from him. Let me know if y'all seen anything from any of these guys, because some of these guys I didn't see.
That was Baby T.O. that came over when he was hurt, but then he said that he wasn't hurt the entire season. I just think for him, he just didn't pan out with that heavy.
You talking about the Cordell, the Russell kid?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the guy that was calling the Baby T.O.?
Yeah, he's actually from the Dallas Metroplex. So,
okay.
Yeah, him.
All right, tight end Morgan Pearson. He's out. December the 6th. He converted lineman who spent 2 seasons at Colorado. They didn't see anything from him. Jordan Arnevo, he's out. I remember calling his name in the beginning. He spent 2 years at Colorado. Yes, definitely remember calling his name. And then we got Peyton Kirkland. Definitely remember that name. He was out December the 8th. He redshirted with the Texas Longhorns in 2023 before spending the 2024 season at Colorado. Not sure if he got much playing time, if any at all. Then we got Yakari Walker. He's out. Definitely remember him. December the 9th, he was out. Former UConn center who was dropped from Colorado's roster in October. Do we remember the story? What happened to Yakari? Because he was dropped. They say he was dropped from the roster in October, so he was out like a while back. Adonis. He was a safety. Adonis Forrest Jr. is out December the 9th. Former JUCO transfer who was dropped from Colorado's roster in November. All right. Asad Wasim. He's out, wide receiver. December the 9th. He saw limited playing time in 2 seasons at Colorado. Dayon Hayes is out, defensive end, December the 10th. He recorded 3.5 tackles for loss and 2 sacks in 4 games played in 2024 before suffering a season-ending injury. And then we got Tyler Johnson. This is one of the prospects that we thought was going to be a pretty dope player for Colorado, but then nothing really transpired. So we got December the 10th. He's a former Houston transfer who was dropped from Colorado's roster in October. Then we got Destin Wade. So the Wade guy is leaving. I mean, there was so much noise that was made about the Wade brothers or twins. Were they twins?
Yeah, they're twins.
Okay, so former Kentucky Wildcats transfer who appeared in 1 game at Colorado in 2024. 1 game? Which game was that? I don't remember that game.
One of the games where they were really running up the score. He might have got in like victory formation or something. It wasn't anything meaningful.
Okay, we made a lot of noise about him, but I was thinking like, bro, Shador's in the picture. This is the wrong time to be the 3rd or 4th quarterback at Colorado. Because
we made a lot of noise about his brother. He was average, but that goes back to what we was just talking about early. Even though I know they came in as a deal package and all this stuff, but it still stems back to what we was talking about. Like, was that the right decision, knowing that Shador is there? You're not going to even touch the field.
Right, like you're not even number 2. Number 2 don't even see the field to be 3 or 4 down the line, bro. Like you go to JUCO now that we got this JUCO. Go to JUCO, get some playing time. Like it's not. Look, man, I'm concerned about some of these quarterbacks that we. What's that other guy? What is it, Capone? Whatever they're calling him. What's that other quarterback that people keep talking about? He's pretty good.
The one that we just got from Liberty?
No. The guy that was there that people were saying he's better than Staub.
Oh, the one, is that the one from Liberty? I mean, from Vanderbilt?
It could be. Do you know his name?
Left-handed? I think you just mentioned his name a second ago.
Not Capone, right? Not something. It's a C word. Anyway.
Oh, I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, some of these guys is like it's hard to even know if they're ever going to get playing time because I don't even know the motivation. But inside offensive lineman Carter Miller. He's in Colorado, committed to Colorado December the 15th. Started center in all 12 games this past season for Louisiana Monroe. Okay, Louisiana Monroe. Okay. And then we got Nikhai Hill-Green is out. We already talked about him. Then we got Jaheim Otis. Jaheim Otis is in, defensive lineman. All right, December the 16th. Is 6'5", 320-pound defensive lineman who totaled 57 tackles across 3 seasons with the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, so we got. Hey, Tim, just wanted to note. I don't remember which episode, but you said, hey, some of those Alabama guys are going to start leaving, and they're going to be coming. They could come to Colorado. Not all of them. We got a couple of Alabama guys, but a couple of Alabama guys are leaving. So I just wanted to make that note that you caught that.
Yeah,
so,
and that's a great pickup for CU. If we think the block bully was something, this kid right here, man.
Oh, he nice with it?
What? He nice with it is an understatement.
Okay.
This kid is a pro, man.
Hey, Harry
this
B.
kid right here is a pro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys know the Matt B. Diddy or Matt B. Great channel on YouTube?
Yes.
All right. He's a huge Alabama fan. You know, Alabama's his team. And he said that Jaheim Otis, and he was talking like Tim about how good we were improved because of Chidozie.
Mm-hmm.
But he said Jaheim Otis is going to make their defense twice as good next year as they were this year just by himself. And you know, as somebody who watched every snap he played, I don't always listen to Matt B. Diddy, but if he's talking about an Alabama player that he watched play every snap coming over here, you know, I'll listen to him a little bit.
Why you call him Matt B. Diddy? What is that about?
if you know, you know.
If you know, well, those of you who know. Okay, I'm leaving that one alone. Whatever y'all know out there, I ain't trying to be no part of that. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna look into that. I'm definitely gonna be following that because that's what I want to know. Like, what are we getting? How are we replacing the guys that we know were productive during our season, our 2024 season? All right, so we got Zach Atkins. He's in, tight end. Okay, so he committed on December the 17th. Notable 3-star transfer tight end who spent the past 3 seasons at Division II Northwest Missouri State. Okay.
Is that the one that was high sought after in the portal, the tight end? How big is he?
I don't have the skinny on this kid yet, but his name is Zach Atkins.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be doing videos on these kids. Any lineman that comes in, I want to make sure that we get a highlight on them. I definitely want to know what they're bringing to the table. So we got a punt kicker. This is Buck Buchanan. He is in December 17th. He handled field goals, extra points, and kickoff duties this past season at Louisiana Tech. And then we got Reginald Hughes. He's in, linebacker. Okay. He committed December the 17th, recorded 82 tackles, total tackles, 10 TFL. Wait, this is another Nikhai Hill-Green. The numbers are exactly the same. 82, 10, 4.5 sacks in Jacksonville State in 2024.
And he got a high motor. He got a higher motor than Nikhai Hill-Green. He could play sideline to sideline.
I believe there was a correlation with his visit, and Nikhai, I think, entered the portal the day after his visit. I don't know if that means anything, and I'm not even positive on my timing, but that's in my memory because I was so shocked that Nikhai entered the portal the day it happened. I was like, surely it wasn't that Jacksonville State guy who visited yesterday. I remember thinking that. So y'all fact check me on that, but I think there is a correlation between Big Reggie's visit and Nikhai entering the portal.
Narrative. Right? If you keep digging, you'll find the narratives.
We gotta wonder because I mean him and Cam were the dogs of our defense, and like I said, you see somebody's lady around town all the time, and she's always in CU gear. Like that's not all of their ladies. Like LeJonte's lady is always in like designer stuff. She's not wearing as much of the CU customized. But you look at Nikai's lady and you think like, man, they're really happy here. She's like really repping hard. And he's getting all the accolades, all the attention you would want to go pro. And then he leaves. You gotta look for the why. It's just confusing.
Because we can't live without the why. The why is why we watch. Hey, and by the way, you might want to make a video if you got access, that type of access, and you see them walking around and stuff like that. It may, lend itself to some views. Some people, we just want to know why. You feel me? So you might want to make a video if you're seeing, that seems like it could be a cool video. They're girls and if they got baby mamas that are walking around on campus or walking around Boulder, Pearl Street and all that, do us a favor and give us a little insight. You feel me?
Maybe we can get Mrs. Love and Liberty on that. She's into like she knows who the aunties are and who the significant others are, and she's really on that. So maybe I could get her. Oh,
hey man. Y'all better do a video because if she's in the know like that, oh yeah, you gotta put that video out. That's gonna get some views. I promise you.
well, hey, what I'm not gonna say what the Texas Truth is saying in the chat, but it's what is I always look for in these situations where it seems like it doesn't make sense. Like what story would all of a sudden make me go, oh, now I get it. And if the Texas is accurate with Nikhai having the year that he's had and maybe his draft stock being higher than ever, if he feels like his playing time is going to get cut in half or severely limited next year, that could be a business decision. But I don't know.
Yeah, this one is thin, man. This one is like Kool-Aid with a little bit of sugar. I don't know about this one because Nikhai Hill-Green was a high producer, so feelings? Nah, I don't know, man. This one is like, yeah, when you put too much water in the Kool-Aid, you're not getting a lot of taste right there. So, I mean, this might have a little bit of lag, but I don't know. I don't know about yeah.
I tend more to some individual donor or some visionary at some program saying we have to take this guy from Colorado and give him a bag more than him ducking the competition, just because of you don't hit people that hard.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give off any vibes that he's nervous or scared or apprehensive about anybody. So
Yeah.
I am leaning towards somebody saw a mercenary opportunity. And one thing that we have going on in college that we don't have in the NFL right now is you can have say I'm a multimillionaire CU alumni, and I'm into these sports shows. I'm following the pulse. I'm following the recruiting, and I go to the CU program myself and say, listen, I want to take Jaheim Otis from Alabama. I have this inside information, this or that. He might be available. I will single-handedly fund what it takes to get him. I could picture somebody doing that to Nikhai.
Well, I mean, so Tony Jones and Courtney Morgan, the general manager. So, I mean, maybe in 2024 they didn't have the room for him. In 2025, because of the way that their season ended, they needed somebody with a high motor and somebody who can really produce. So maybe that's why they went after him. I have no idea, but yeah, some things are kind of strange. Let's finish this list real quick, and then let's see here. So let's see. Notable. Who's this? Okay, so Trevor Woods again. We know Trevor Woods is out, but okay, let's talk about Trevor Woods a little bit, right? Let's spend a little bit of time because this one is interesting, right? I feel like, and this is just my feeling, I feel like he was done dirty. Okay, he was put in a situation. He was our safety. He was doing well as a safety. I'm not saying he's the best safety since well, I can't even name you the best safety in college football, but I'm just saying he wasn't that great, but he was good enough for Colorado. They tell him, we need linebackers. So put on some weight and come play linebacker. Then he gets too slow, can't play, and they say, no, we got Nikhai Hill-Green, we got Bentley. We good. What's up with that? I feel some kind of way. Because Trevor Woods was one of those guys that I talked about highly, and I thought that he was he was a producer for Colorado, and then all of a sudden disappears.
Wrong place, wrong time, like Ashton Genty.
But was that the case, or they jumped the gun not knowing who they had in-house?
Or you have the just reality of the situation. And I mean, I'm a huge Shiloh fan. I'm a huge Cam Silman-Craig fan. I love both those guys, and I'm a big Trevor fan. But, Cam and Shiloh go back to playing together so far. It's hard, even if you're loved, and unless he was head and shoulders clearly better than either one of them, you've got like a seniority thing just with the institution that came here, that Cam and Shiloh have been playing together since they were in high school or younger, and it's hard. It would be hard to break in front of either one of those two guys unless they really fumbled the bag or he was head and shoulders that dude.
I mean, the way that Shiloh played this season, you would think it would warrant Trevor getting some snaps. Because when Shiloh was hurt, somebody had to be in there.
But they put Carter in. They didn't put Trevor in, and I think that's because Carter has the hitting power of Trevor, but he can cover fast wide receivers as well.
Right, and Trevor was just a little slower because they asked him to put on weight that he didn't know what to do with the weight.
That's all it was, because the year before he could cut. He had the game-sealing pick against either TCU or Nebraska last year. I don't remember, but that was my first introduction to Trevor Woods, and then I started paying attention to him. And he's original buff. He's on the field making interceptions.
Yeah, making plays, right?
Yeah, and after all the press saying that Coach Prime had run everybody off, it's like you have one of the original buffs make a game-winning play in one of the first games. It immediately kind of countered that narrative they were trying to push in his first year.
And then Coach Prime was pretty much comparing him to NFL legends, and I'm like, oh, okay, Trevor may, depending on how this thing works out and how he does his thing, he may be on a practice squad somewhere. You never know. And then all of a sudden, stock goes plummet, like goes all the way down like Tyler Brown. And Swansley said, does Tyler Brown still have eligibility? Does it matter? Yo, does it even matter? At this point, he might want to go back to JUCO. Like the way I was thinking, like Tyler Brown may go NFL, but nowadays it's like, yo, But anyways, Tim, I'm not sure if you're still here. Do you feel like he was done dirty? That I want to know. Does it feel kind of like weird because we knew Nikhai Hill-Green was coming? We already had Bentley. We had what's the guy, Jeremiah Brown? So why tell? What did they see in Trevor Woods to make him feel like, okay, you can play linebacker? Is it because he has high IQ for football? I can't. I don't know. It's like one of those situations. Do you turn down your coach? Do you say, no, coach, I'd rather play safety? Are you still here, Tim? Love and Liberty, you can answer before Tim comes back on because he's probably busy.
Yeah,
is there a situation where you can just tell your coach, no, I'm not doing it? Is that a good idea?
Yeah. I think we see players do that all the time, and that is a more immediate, like, okay, we don't see eye to eye. You should probably hop in the transfer portal. But I think Trevor put faith in Coach Prime. When he said, I think the NFL player you're referring to is Brian Urlacher. He said he was like,
yeah.
And so if you're a young man and you hear one of the greatest of all time compare you to somebody like that, you might say, hey, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and hang around here and, trust in them. And he might have never violated Trevor's trust. Coach Prime, I think he sees a long game that a lot of us and certainly young players do not see, where in his mind, he's like, if Trevor sits out because Nikhai is a little bit better and he puts up impressive stats in the weight room, like weight room stats are another type of film we don't talk about. You can get looks from schools because of what you can do in the weight room and have that school believe, oh, we put him with this coaching staff or that coaching staff with what he can do in the weight room and what he's already done in the past, we can get us a diamond in the rough. And I think Coach Prime sees stuff like that in people like Trevor, and he may be guiding him behind the scenes saying, hey, stay with us, do our weight training. We're going to get you right. We'll get you a good transfer. And he knows that a year or two delay for these guys to put on size and increase their football IQ is only going to help their potential future NFL career or coaching career. It's not going to hurt them, even though these guys feel like every season is life or death.
Yeah, man. This one kind of broke my heart because I felt like, dang, man, he was one of those stories that he said the right thing, he did the right thing, he was a good kid, and you just felt like, okay, let's reward him for that. And then they put him in a situation where he just couldn't bounce back, and now he's out. And that's not the type of story that you want from a guy that helps you to beat TCU and save some face. Anyway, QB.
That's why I got faith that in the long run, Coach Prime is going to do right by him. That a lot of times when we think,
how would that look? What would that look like?
That would look like him making phone calls to all the schools that Trevor's interested in that need somebody in his position and saying, hey, look, it was close between him and Nikhai. And Trevor had a little tweak in his knee or this or that. And so Nikhai got the edge and Nikhai just didn't lose it. But you guys should have seen the way Trevor was preparing in the weight room, getting ready. And we're just deep. We know you guys are thin. I give him my highest endorsement. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that Coach Prime can do behind the scenes we don't know what the relationship is. And unfortunately, until guys like Nikhai Hill-Green and Trevor become in a position to tell their story, which might come years after they stop playing, we just are left to speculate. But I go back to my baseline trust in Coach Prime that it seems like over time, the people who put trust in him come out winning.
That's true. That's because Coach Prime, like, love him or hate him, like he's the type of person that he's loyal and he's gonna look out for you, and he knows how this game works. He understands that he has to put a product on the table or on the field that is a winning product. And if he has one guy that's a little bit better, now we can't say we know what he tried to do with the whole Charlie Alfredo situation. He thought he had a guy, but that we cannot defend. But Coach Prime is gonna, if he likes you, he'll give you a shot. And if he gives you a shot and the coaches don't really see the results that they need to see, then they'll pull you. But he'll definitely try. And yeah, if you stick with Coach Prime, he'll look out for you. So everybody knows about this guy, Caden Salter. This right here is going to be a quarterback situation. Now, his note, he threw for 5,887 yards, 56 touchdowns. That sounds like Heisman, right? And 17 interceptions. That's five seasons at Liberty. Well, he was 5 years at Liberty. Wow. Okay. And then we got Vickers, cornerback. All right, Makari Vickers, former four-star prospect who spent the past 2 seasons with the Oklahoma Sooners, totaling 9 tackles and 1 pass breakup. And then we got Guevara Lightfoot. I hope he is defensive lineman. Recorded 37 total tackles and 2 TFLs at Fresno State this past season. That is your transfer portal happenings. That's in and that's out. Committed to Colorado December 18th. So Colorado is making some moves. Now, these moves are not going to be the sexiest moves. These moves are going to be pretty much, do they fit the program? Do they fit the type of young men that we want in the program? Are they going to be exemplary for the type of men, the young men that we want in this program? I think that's what's going on here, because right now, I don't know the specific numbers, but Colorado is not ranked in the Big 12. It's not ranked that high in the Big 12 as far as transfer portal movements. So I know Kansas is up there. A lot of teams are making a lot of big moves in the transfer portal. Colorado is not necessarily ranked that high. What is that going to look like? I have no idea. I'm still wondering what Colorado is going to look like. I'm looking at the offensive line. I don't see too much movements on that offensive line situation. That's where I got questions at. Are they not available? Are they available and we just can't afford them? Or what is going on? Or do we just wait and see after all the bowl games and wait? I have no idea. But I need to know. I need major movements to happen, because if you watched Juju play in that final his championship game, the reason why he was playing the way he was playing was because he was shook. That defensive line was getting at him. All right, and the offensive line was not much help. I felt like at a certain point, I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm watching Shador 2.0. I am watching Shador 2023, running for his life. If we put Juju behind our current line, our current offensive line, I don't know if he makes it. I don't mean to laugh at this, but I don't know if he makes it behind our current offensive line. First of all, he needs to put on a lot of weight. He got to put on a whole lot of weight to make it behind that offensive line. Shador had some weight, and he was a veteran. This kid has been through thick and thin. He's been through a whole lot. If you put this kid behind that offensive line that we currently have, I don't know that he survives. That's what I think. Tim, are you still here, or Tim, you out? Tim, I don't know. I don't know if Tim is still here. Tim hasn't talked. So me and Love and Liberty just going to finish off the show because Tim is MIA. So, Love and Liberty, how do you feel about this current offensive line?
So we got Yo-Yo in the background. or his name looks like Yaya, but it sounds like he pronounces it Yo-Yo, Atia.
Okay.
He's looking good in some of the well-off videos to me. Then you got Carter Miller coming in from Louisiana Monroe. He turned down offers to Michigan State, Mississippi State, North Carolina. He looks like he's going to be promising. And then we got Carde Smith coming in. So I think, between Salter and Juju, maybe getting both some playing time to compete and see who's the gamer. I think we've got the utility players to do the screen game and stuff to take some of the pressure off them. But still, I still come back to we not having a thumper running back that just takes pressure off everything and of everybody in the transfer portal. And I'm a fan of Dallin Hayden. I'm a fan of Augustive. I'm a fan of Michael Welch. I've seen them all have flashes of brilliance in a game, but I haven't seen any of them put the team on their back like Devin Neal, like Travis Hunter, like Shador, like Jimmy in some games, like LeJontay in some games. Put the team on their back type of running back. And maybe one of those guys that we have can do it, but I need to see that to feel good about what you're saying about protecting Juju or whatever quarterback we have, because you got to have a running game to keep the defense from just pinning their ears back and just trying to demolish your QB for the whole game like we saw happen to Shador.
But how confident are you that, or maybe not you, maybe you're not confident, but how can you be sure, how can you think that a good running back like a Devin Neal will come to Colorado when Colorado, how do you sell a running back coming to Colorado? Because you got to go in there, you got to say, well, look at this running back. Look what he did. You're like, wait, you ran the ball how many times last year?
You sell it to him the same way that you get Jordan Seaton to come to Colorado, the exact same way, to say this place is ripe for you to say, since Rashaan Salam, there has not been another until X player, and that's Jordan Seaton's opportunity, was go somewhere where you set the foundation. You get to be the first one to do it in 2 decades. And when
but they gotta give him the rock. How do you sell something and you're gonna be like, yo, y'all not gonna give me the rock, so why would I come here? If I was a parent and I had a running back and he was nice, do I send him to Prime and I know Prime's not running the ball?
But we got to ask, is Prime going to run the ball more next year than he did this year? And I'll just put it that way to be gentle. Like, do you think Coach Prime is going to call more running plays next year than he did this year? I would say yes, but maybe I'm wrong.
Man, and that's why I have to ask the question whether there was some circumstances, things in the roadblocks that we were not aware of. I just don't know. It's just the Colorado's run situation is just still a big old unknown. Still unknown. Like we don't know. We don't know what the problem was. We don't know if it was the O-line, if what it was. But we have running backs. We know we have running backs. We just didn't draw up run plays. So it's like, okay, was this Shador? If it was Shador, then we understand. Okay, fine. We had Shador, so that was our best opportunity. But if we're going to ask for a better running back, I would like to know the sales pitch. I mean, I get the Jordan Seaton thing, but how can you sell a running back where you've had 2 seasons where you never ran the ball and you didn't want to? It's going to be a hard sell. Jordan Seaton, you can sell. The run game.
Recruiter, if I'm Coach Flea, my pitch to the running backs is, hey, you saw how much we improved this year over last year, and we ran the ball, this much more this year compared to last year. We're trying to do the same thing. We think the only thing that kept us out of the Big 12 and the playoffs ultimately was having somebody like you, whatever your name is. You could be the difference in taking us to the national championship next year. You see what we've got at receiver. You see what we've got at quarterback. You see the offensive linemen and tight ends we've brought in. You see what our defense is doing. You are the missing link. We need to go win a national championship. That's my sales pitch if I'm Coach Flea. But man, as a fan, I saw what having Trevor Etienne did for Trevor Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? Like Trevor Lawrence shined as a quarterback because he had Travis
Right.
Etienne as a running back. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that Shermer and Prime understand that. I think, I'm not the biggest Shedeur Sanders fan, but I am a huge Shedeur Sanders fan. I love Shedeur. I want to see him do great. I think a lot of the audibles at the line of scrimmage that may have taken some run plays away, might have been Shadeur's call, whereas the next year's quarterback is not going to have that clout. But I don't know that, and it's wrong for me to really speculate. When everybody in the media, all the analysts, you hear Coach Prime and Coach Shermer saying in press conferences, we got to run the ball more, and then it doesn't happen. And again, I'm like, why? Why? We're hearing everybody say run the ball more. We're hearing the coaches say it. Why is it not happening? And I could only guess, like Shedeur wants to throw that thing, and he's great at it, and it could
Right.
have worked out this year. We almost had that Cinderella year. So I just think next year they're going to run it more. I think they could have a strong pitch to a great running back if they find one. But I don't know who's available. I don't even know. I mean, people are talking about poaching Ollie Gordon, but the way Ollie Gordon looked against us, I'm like, is he hurt? Like, how do we shut him down like that? But we can't
We
make
can't
we can't stop Devin Neal.
not just Devin Neal, but the other Kansas guy, DJ Giddens.
DJ Giddens. Yeah, DJ Giddens, exactly.
We couldn't shut nothing down in Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Dorothy and Toto and whoever they had the dago man, it was bad, man. It's like the two Kansas team were our Achilles heels and they're recruiting a lot faster than us. They hit the transfer portal and they're ready to go, and they've been making like more headlines as far as who they're bringing in, and Colorado's not really. So, but again, that doesn't really concern me because names again don't really concern me. I know Coach Prime is looking for something very specific, and again, we got to trust Coach Prime on that. So we got to see what Coach Prime is trying to do. But what you said earlier about that whole Shedeur situation, I think we knew. I think we know what happened. I think Shedeur had the power to change up the play, and I think that's what happened. I think Shedeur, because he had the power and he trusts himself so much, he had so much confidence that he was able to do it. But again, the next quarterback, I think you're right to a certain extent that the next quarterback is about to have specific run plays. Because if you watch Juju during his championship game, it was straight up like, yeah, this is a run play. It was a design run. Boom, we're handing the ball off and we're getting up out of the way. I can't wait for Colorado to have that. I have not seen a design run play that looked like it wasn't an RPO.
Facts.
Okay. And I'm like, I can't wait for that to be Colorado football because some of those runs might break, or they might have a scheme that maybe will work out. You never know. So I'm waiting for Coach Prime for him to Coach Prime was quiet the second half of 2024. I don't know that he's going to be talking that much more. I don't think Coach Prime is going to be talking that much more. So I don't know what that looks like. I just hope that it turns out way better than we got. But man, let's let me see here. Let me see. I think I had another slide and we can get up out of here. Let's finish with this right here. All right, so I did play this earlier, but I wanted to talk. We didn't spend too much time on talking about this at all. So let's go back to this real quick, and I want to get your thoughts because there's a lot of players that are in this situation, and they don't think too much before they do. So let's revisit this, and then we can roll out on this one.
Every situation is unique. You just have to really make sure that you're making the decision that you're making for the right decisions, and not just based off financial benefit, but like seeing if you're going to develop there, seeing if the coach that you're going to be playing for is going to develop you, seeing if you're going to be able to develop there as a man, seeing if your credits transfer over. A lot of people don't think about that. I just graduated this past weekend, and um, just being able to do that, like nobody's ever going to be able to take my degree away from me. So making sure your credits transfer over, making sure that level of education that you wanted at your initial school is going to meet up to it at your next school. So just make sure that you're making the decisions for the right reasons and not just like, oh man, my coach doesn't like me, or I'm not going to play here. Maybe you're not playing for a reason. Maybe you just need to get better. So you need to really self-reflect before you make essentially a life-altering decision so quickly.
So yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about this a little bit, because I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this, because a lot of kids, sometimes the younger generation, they talk about my coach don't like me, because we know a couple of players. I'm not sure if it was Tavares. I know Tavares had a situation that, about his child. Something happened and he left. But some kids are making decisions based upon, oh, my coach don't like me, or this is happening. What do you think about that? Because I was having a conversation, and I was thinking, like, if we go back to this place where you're getting paid money, does it matter whether your coach like you or not? Are we even worried about the fact that your coach, your position coach, even knows your, like, how do we navigate this whole entire this new landscape versus kids who still have the mindset of, I'm a student athlete?
This is why I think what Coach Prime is building is so incredible. First off, when you see these guys that he's recruiting, that they just look like they're gladiator dogs, and then you hear them speak as intelligently as he just did, as thoughtfully, as well spoken, you're just like, man, Coach Prime, how is he different? How does he get these type of players? And what you're speaking to me, is it's trust. It's the trust you have when you meet a stranger at the dog park, when you meet somebody new at work, or when you hire somebody, or when you go into any new situation, and that trust building, how quickly can you build trust with somebody? How quickly can you build rapport? And when Coach Prime is assembling as quality of a recruiting and coaching staff as these well-spoken and intelligent young men that he's recruiting, it really shows me why all the other programs are scared and terrified, because in a mercenary world, how do you get people to come? Like Coach Prime just said yesterday, he's like, people are not coming here to play for the bag. Like, let's get that straight. I do not want anybody coming here who's going to tell me a price tag. He's like, if you come here, you will have companies like Adidas and Mercedes seeing what you do every week, and you go get the bag from them. That's what we can give you here, and we can give you a coaching staff who's been there, done that. We weren't third string practice squad players like Dabo who just nerded out on the playbook and strategy. We were in the trenches putting gold jackets on our backs, and that's how you get players like this. And it's a short amount of time. We've seen in 2 years, like after next year, I think it's just going to be obvious what I'm saying right now to everybody, that Coach Prime, if he wants to, will build and eclipse Nick Saban in 5-6 years because of the trust. Because of the trust he's able to generate with young men who aren't chasing the bag, who say, in a land full of mercenaries, I'm going to play for this team and this coaching staff because I trust them.
And you think that's gonna take shape? Because you just use a cardinal sin. You mentioned Nick Saban in the same breath as Coach Prime, and you don't do that, right?
Yeah, I'm willing to commit that sacrilege, because I think even Nick Saban would say in an interview, if we had him here, hey, if Coach Prime stays put and he sets in his mind that he wants to come after your records with Alabama, you think he can do it? I think Nick Saban would be the first person to say, absolutely, if that's what Deion wants to do. If that's what Coach Prime makes up his mind when he says he wants his face carved in the flat irons, if he's serious about that, who's going to say that he can't do it? Only people who have ulterior motives, or people who have not been watching this man's career.
That well, yeah, that was proverbial. So hopefully, hopefully, I mean, Coach Prime. Hopefully, he's able to do it. But these first couple of years is very tough because I don't know if the bag that they say that they have in Boulder now is going to be enough. I'm saying empty the bag on that offensive line. I think if you get a good offensive line and you get some serviceable defensive players, we can do it. But I don't see the offensive line yet. So I feel like it's going to take more time because we're supposed to say, well, year number 3, are we going for it now? But yet, I don't know yet. I'm not as confident yet. Wild Dog said relationships affect your future. NFL scouts go straight to your coaches to establish fit. If nothing rings, then they easily move on. That is so true. That is true because you have coaches talk about that. You need relationships. You need somebody to reference you. Who are we getting in our organization? Who are we getting? Who is this person that we are vetting? Is this person going to be a good fit? And if they make that call, and I know that it's by law, you are not allowed to say anything negative. If you don't say, let's just say, if you don't say anything negative, but you don't say what they need to hear, they'll move on. So there's a way for people to tell whether you're just trying to, do what the law says, or if you are being very positive or being truthful about a young player. We can end on this note right here. From Matt H. They said, congrats to Coach Kelly. We all remember Coach Kelly, right? Auburn's defensive coordinator. Auburn's defensive coach and co-DC coach Charles Kelly is expected to take the Jacksonville State head coaching job. Sources tell Auburn Live on 3. Okay, so you got any thoughts on this before we get up out of here, my guy?
No, I wish Coach Kelly the best. He's obviously on a career trajectory where he wants to be a head coach and he wants to move up, and good for him. And I wish them all the best. If they're showing Coach Prime love, and they haven't done anything to stab him in the back, then I'm going to keep supporting them as well as it seems like Coach Prime does.
Yeah, Coach Kelly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know he was a Alabama guy that came in with his Alabama playbook, and some people say that it just wasn't what Colorado needed. But yeah, man, if he's going to be a head coach and he's getting his coaching opportunity, then salute to that.
Let me ask this: Would anybody here trade Robert Livingston for Coach Kelly?
That's not a fair question, man.
I'll say hell no.
That's not a fair question. Do you know why that's not a fair question? It's
Why?
Because the only reason why you would say no is because of winning. But do you have the talent? Can we say
the defense looked different? And then given how much of that was our conference, who our competition when we had Coach Kelly versus Livingston, the team being together for a much shorter amount of time. But man, I don't know. I like Livingston's philosophy where he comes in and says, I'm going to coach to the players we have skill sets and advantages, whereas Kelly's like, you're going to play this system that works. You're going to conform to this system. I like Livingston's strategy more personally.
No. I'm with you on that one. I like Livingston's strategy. I talked about it extensively, but I don't know that is a fair question, because when you ask a question like that, it's really embedded in the idea of winning and losing. And that's like, you got to talk nuances when you talk about these type of things, because he could actually go somewhere and be successful. And then people would say, well, look, you lost a good one. We always do that. So I don't know that it's fair for you to say, hey, who do you prefer? Because Livingston came in and he, we went 9-3, and it is looking like we're going to be, I think we're gonna stop BYU. That's what I feel like, because I feel like BYU was on a downward trajectory, and I wish we could have caught them in that Big 12 championship, but that's neither here nor there now. But yeah, Coach Kelly, like when you talk about coaches like that, and you have different seasons, you have a different mindset, it is possible that maybe the mindset did change and the staff came in and created a different environment. But I don't know when it comes to coaching whether Robert Livingston is a better coach, based on your question, whether he's a better coach than Coach Kelly, because there's no way that you're going to be able to measure that. Because the only thing you got is losses, wins and losses. That's it. So it's not fair. I'm just saying it doesn't seem fair. But hey, like I said, DC Charles Kelly, hopefully congrats. I hope he goes to where's he going? Jacksonville State. Is that FCS? That should be FCS. I don't know that's not Group of 5, right? Jacksonville State.
I'm not sure. That's where the new linebacker Big Reggie is coming from, right?
Okay, yeah, I think this is Jacksonville. Yeah, I think this is FCS, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know too much about them. But yeah, man. So it's we ended up right on time. So let's get up out of here. Let me get your final thoughts on who you think is going to win this ball game between Colorado Buffaloes and the BYU is it BYU Cougars? It's Cougars, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is who wins and by how much?
I'm going Colorado by between 10 and 14. So let me say 12. I'm going Colorado by 12. And it better be, because I did a big road trip for that Kansas game, and oh boy, it was so fun until it wasn't fun. And I do not want another road trip back home, multi-day road trip. So we gotta win. We gotta send Shedeur and Travis off right. And give me Buffs by 12. Let's say 42-30.
Do we get our transfers playing? Is Nikhai Hill playing, or no? He's gone already.
Oh, I think Coach Prime said in his press conference, if you ain't playing GTFOH, get the out of here. You ain't eating our food. You're not coming in the locker room. If you're out, you're out. So I don't picture Nikhai playing. And then the incoming players, they can't play, but they're practicing with the team supposedly.
Oh, so we don't have our full team then. So the transfers, those who are transferring, they out of here.
Correct.
This is going to be interesting. Okay, so yeah. I guess. Do you think that Coach Prime is going to put in at least Ryan Staub, give him a chance, or this is going to be a Shedeur show?
I don't. I mean, I think we would have to be dominating BYU for Staub to get in, because this is Shedeur's last. I know they're playing the Shrine Bowl, but his last game as a Buff. We'd have to be real. I don't know. I don't see Staub getting in unless we're up by 21 or more.
Oh, so we're taking this real serious. Like, this is going to be like, this is a serious game. Because I'm thinking like, this is a send-off, but we don't want to get...
I'm taking Coach Prime at his word that it's serious. I'm taking Shedeur and Travis at their words that it's serious to them. We'll find out. We know what it looks like when they play serious and when they don't, because when I got back home and I rewatched that Kansas game, one of the most frustrating parts was, if you rewatch that game, every big play that Kansas had, I'm talking every big run over 2 or 3 yards, they were met at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield with contact, and they just missed the first tackle, second tackle,
right?
Sometimes the third tackle. So Coach had them in position. They they had a chance to make a play for a loss or a stop, and they would just miss him. And it looked like the Kansas State game, but in other games they were making those tackles. So it's just like, they caught a cold of missed tackling, and that cannot happen against BYU. BYU is good enough where if you're not going to wrap them up as soon as you make contact, it's going to be a long game. But if they come out hitting, and I imagine Jalen Wester will probably be playing for Nikhai Hill-Green. And Jalen Wester's looked good, man. He's a dog. He's young, but he's going to have to step up.
So next man up, Coach Prime got to get his team ready for this game, and I did not know that when we're not getting our full team. We're going to get some guys, but not the whole team. But hopefully Colorado wins it, because then this puts a bowl game under Coach Prime's name. So it does have some big implications for Coach Prime, but some of these players maybe not so much. All right, man. Look, man, thanks for spending the time with me, being on my channel, guy. I appreciate you, man. Hey, man, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. I appreciate you always and always.
Right back at you, Harry B. And chat. It's always good to hang out with this community. Let's go Buffs.
All right, guys, in the chat, Wild Dog, D'Angelo Bynum, Quanlito's Way, Fat Even or Evan. Guys, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Hopefully I'll go live or have a wonderful Christmas. And when I go live again, I'll probably be after Christmas, I believe, because Christmas is on the 25th. Well, I might go live again. I might be live tomorrow, tonight, but I'm just showing the game. So, but anyways, Saturday, I should be going live, and I'll see y'all guys. I will see y'all again on Saturday, I believe. I can't promise, but I believe I should go live so that we can talk about the game. All right, guys, y'all have a great, great weekend, and I will see y'all on the next video. Get it? See you on the next video. Peace out.